It was so much easier the first time.
Oh yeah, no, it'll still be good. We're gonna
chat.
and that's the magic of editing. I can edit all this
too.
shit. So, how's everybody liking the new Club Royale offers website? Let's talk about it. Do you want to do that?
I think that was a good face.
Again, I love it.
You saw it.
Okay, it's great. I love it. Hey, thanks so much for checking out the video. My channel is all about getting you on the world's biggest cruise ships for less using casino comps. And you probably already know this fine person beside me. She needs no introduction, but I'm going to introduce her anyway. She is my best cruise buddy ever and my travel agent, Jessalyn.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having me again.
Thanks for coming back. The last video was so popular that it was time to bring you back because we got a ton more questions. And then obviously the main goal of this video is to talk a little bit about Royal Caribbean's somewhat sketchy launch of their new offers page. Now, I mean, you'll agree, I think the old page probably needed a refresh.
Yeah, I don't think anybody liked the old page until the new page came along, and they liked it more by comparison. Actually.
Now they're yearning for them.
Yeah,
well,
the good old days.
You remember, what was it, might be longer, but maybe a year or so ago, they tried to refresh that old page, and it was an absolute show. Yeah. And they ended up having to revert to the old one again.
Yes, they abandoned ship, as it were.
Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna go a little bit more into the page, some of the quirks about it, and how you can kind of navigate around until they kind of eventually will get it. Probably
they will, eventually,
because it has some good parts of it too, right? It's not all bad.
It certainly looks prettier than the old site.
100%. And it's nice that it's part of the actual website too.
True.
Yeah. So, but before we do that, we're going to start with a segment that we are just launching for this video. It's the mailbag.
Yes.
So we're going to take your questions and we're going to answer them on these videos. So we've got a few that we're going to go through and then we'll get into the meat, which is that Club Royale site. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. So question number 1 is, what is UR Comped?
Yeah, so a lot of people have heard about this company. UR Comped is a company that is a combination of what we might call a casino junket rep and a travel agency. So they have folks who work with the cruise lines to get comps for players based on the player's past play. Some of the stuff that you've talked about in your videos, things like ADT, average theoretical loss. And so in addition to arranging for these comps, UR Comped also is the agency of record to get the commissions, right? So we talked in the previous video interview that we recorded about how I do get a small flat rate commission on casino comps, and that's what UR Comped does as well. They were probably out there doing that maybe before any travel agencies were. And so because of that, I think that they got a lot of people who are booking with them. But I guess the thing to remember is that they are a travel agency, so you cannot get offers with UR Comped and then book with another agent or directly with a cruise line. And once you have booked with them, they have some systems in place that keep you booking with them. Not the least of which is, Royal Caribbean system, Royal Caribbean and Celebrity specifically, and some of the others, Princess, I believe, and maybe Norwegian. Their system is set up so that when you make a future cruise booking on board, it is automatically assigned to the agent who booked the cruise that you are on. So if your cruise was booked through UR Comped, your next cruise is assigned to UR Comped. And it is very difficult to transfer those bookings to me or to any agent if they have already been booked with another agency. It's possible, but it's difficult. What is really easy is transferring bookings that are booked direct with Royal to me or any other agent.
Okay. So that would be, I guess, the main downfall of UR Comped.
Yeah, so that once they get you in their system, they don't like to let you go. Fair, that's their business practice, right? And so that is kind of the trade-off for being, and they do have access to a lot of the cruise lines. They have access to, for instance, take your play on Carnival and help you get comps on Royal Caribbean, which is something that I don't do. As a travel agent, I just book existing offers.
Right.
And that's the way that I'm set up in that system.
Right.
So it's kind of about knowing what you are getting yourself into, I think, more than anything.
For sure. And there's also tools for getting, leveraging what you're getting from one line onto other lines.
True.
And I have a ton of videos on my channel that goes right into that. It's actually quite simple. It's usually just a little
It's usually an online form you fill out.
That's it.
Yep.
And you can even just call them in a lot of cases. And if, they might ask you what your level of play is or what kind of offers you're getting, and might just give you something, especially in today's environment, right? Because, I just got an offer from Royal for a balcony on Enchantment out. Was it Enchantment or Serenade? Might have been Serenade.
Anyway, it was
one of those two. Yeah, one of those two. I got a balcony offer for 2 weeks out. That's something I don't think I've ever seen from Royal. Like they're usually like month out, 2 months, 3 months out. So you can tell the cruise lines are really trying to get you on board, especially through this period, the next few months.
Yeah,
right?
hurricane season and the slow times up until Thanksgiving and the holidays.
So all that is to say, I think they are way more open-minded when it comes to throwing somebody a bone, right?
Yep.
Giving them
hey, look, it can't hurt to ask.
Right.
You can always just ask. All 100%. They can do is say no.
And they might say, hey, I'll send you an email link with a form where you can send me a screenshot of your offers or something like that, and just get connected like that. But the tools are there.
Yep.
So really, I think maybe, and this is just a guess, UR Comp might work for somebody who just wants to stick with one line. They just don't want to think about it at all, and just just not worry about anything.
It's also good for people who know what they want, because UR Comp, although they book as a travel agency, doesn't offer traditional travel agent services. So if you're working with somebody at UR Comp and they're not really going to be as well set up to answer questions like, should I go on a Radiance class ship or should I go on an Oasis class ship? Right? Should I go to the Bahamas or should I go to Bermuda? So those are the things that working with a traditional travel agent, you can get a little bit more value out of.
Is this room going to totally suck because it's right by the anchor and I'm going to hear every time?
Can I put 4 people in this interior room and not want to kill them all by the time that the cruise is over? Yes.
Can you upgrade my interior into a balcony? There's so many things.
One thing. I don't think, and this is not speaking on first-hand experience, it's speaking on second-hand, but they don't really like to do things like upgrades, free upgrades, because there's nothing in that for their business model.
Right.
I don't blame them. Again, I don't blame them.
Yeah, the different things, different products, right? It's just
different
like
strokes for different folks.
Exactly. Some people like iPhone, some people like Android. The people like iPhone are wrong,
and the people who like Android think that they're right, but they're actually wrong.
See, perfect. See, that's the difference. Me personally, I would never go with your comp. I want control over that. I want to be able to select who's going to be managing, and obviously having experienced your services, I would never go anywhere else because you're so attentive, professional. You know your stuff, and that's what I want. So
I've been doing it for a while.
You have.
I have.
You're a professional.
Professional.
So the next mailbag question is all about using your Prime discount and your free Wi-Fi days, when you have an elevated level like Diamond, Diamond Plus, Pinnacle. So can you go a little bit more into how you might be able to work with that in order to save some money on Wi-Fi? Because you know how expensive it is.
Yeah, I know. They love to charge. So this is specifically for Royal Caribbean, right? Because that is where your Diamond status gets you 1 free day of Wi-Fi, and your Diamond Plus status gets you 2. Your Pinnacle status gets you 1 free device for the entirety of the cruise. So one of the things you can do, and I will say asterisk, right? Because every once in a while you will run into a Royal Caribbean ship where their policies are different. I have heard that sometimes they're not as accommodating with this on some ships at some times. But the 1 free day that you can get, right? You sign up for that, you use it when it's over. You have the option then to purchase the rest of the days. What you can do is after you use your free time, and then you can go, and then you purchase the new package to complete the rest of the cruise, then you can go to the VOOM desk and tell them that you're a Prime member. And if you're a Prime member, and you can get a 30% discount. Signature members get 1 free device, but then you can, of course, also pay for a second device. I believe Masters get 2 free devices, but that's not going to be us anytime soon. So I don't know for sure. But yeah, so it's a real sweet spot, I think, for Prime members who are also Diamond, Diamond Plus, or Pinnacle. If you happen to be Pinnacle and Prime like I am, so I get 1 device for free, but I usually pay because I'm usually working. Don't mind. I don't mind it actually. But I pay for the second device, and then I go down and I get my 30% Prime discount on the second device.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that'll just come off your folio charge as a 30% off discount.
Yeah, and you turned me on to this before I went on to Star.
Yeah.
And I tried it out. And so, yeah, I had Diamond Plus, so I had 2 days of a four-night sailing.
Yep.
So I redeemed the 2 days, and then I went to the Voom desk. I said I want my next 2 days, and I applied my Prime discount, and I ended up, like, it was less than half than I would have paid. So it was a really good
It's
deal.
a really good deal for Diamond and Diamond Plus members on short sailings. Yeah, you can wind up getting, especially if you don't need to be connected all the time. So, like, let's say you leave on a 3-night sailing and you use your one free day. You start at like the morning of Saturday. You can just buy one more day because by the time that second day is over, you're back.
Right. You were talking about how sometimes you strategically choose when you activate the days because let's say, sail away, you don't, right? Because you're at port, you're using the data on your phone, you're fine, right?
Yep.
At the night, you don't worry about it too much. The next day you start your morning and then you say, okay, I'm going to activate like at 11 o'clock.
Right.
And then you get all the way that 24 hours. So you're already going into the next day.
Yep.
So if you're not really like, I need to be connected every moment of every second.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if I just want to be on for a bit every day, if you strategically pick your days, you can actually go and not pay anything if you're like Diamond Plus on a 4-night, right?
That's true. Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
It's good to know.
So last mailbag item is when to book your extra things on the ship. So that would be things like excursions, maybe a drink package, maybe like something like Coco K, something like that.
Yeah.
So, and then, what you can do to try to minimize those costs as you go on. So can you give people a little bit of a guide?
Yeah, so we talk a lot about the Royal math, and that's the way that Royal likes to up the price of its add-ons so that it can discount them further. A couple of things that are important to know. One is that up until the cruise planner closes 3 days before sailing, you can continually cancel and rebook at a lower price. Okay. So you're not locked in to the first price that you get. There is sometimes a bit of a lag time. It's usually not that bad. It's usually like 10 days or so at the max, I found. But you have to know if it's on your credit card. I mean, if you have 2 beverage packages on your credit card, that's like over $1,000. So you might need to be a little careful with that. But you can cancel and rebook for things like beverage packages, meals, excursions, things like that. Pretty much anything through the Cruise Planner website. And then the really important thing is to keep your eye on the bottom line, right? Don't look at what it tells you the price per day is, for instance. Look at the price you will pay once you put something in your cart and once you go to check out, because they won't add gratuities until the checkout page for things like beverage packages, specialty dining, and anything else they would charge gratuities on. So it's important to remember the amount you paid, price it for the amount that it is currently, and then decide if it's worth it to cancel and rebook.
Okay. So in that case, it makes sense to, like, as soon as you book your cruise, book all that stuff, right? Because
I mean, these days they almost always have a sale going on, and I will say that one of the things that I have heard a lot of references to the Black Friday sale for Cruise Planner items, and I will say that sale used to be killer. But last year, I noticed a thing. The sale before the Black Friday sale was better.
Really?
You heard it here first. This is only for subscribers of this channel. And like, even the great thing is I can say this, right? Because even if I'm wrong and you purchase on that sale right before the Black Friday sale and it proves me wrong, I'm okay with that. Because you can always go back and you can cancel and rebook at a lower price. But keep an eye out for that sale right before the Black Friday sale.
Yeah.
Because I think that everybody's so used to a Black Friday sale. Mm-hmm. So people say, oh, this must be the cheapest it could be.
So they're taking advantage of that.
I wouldn't say it exactly like that. I'm just saying consumer psychology is a thing. Consumer psychology.
Royal needs to make that money.
And, they're building beach clubs and brand new giant ships. And
did you hear that they are actually in negotiations with their main shipbuilder for that next class? You're very
I'm a skeptic. I'm a Discovery class skeptic.
Very skeptical, but apparently they're in negotiations.
They're talking about it. I will say, diversion story. I was on Harmony of the Seas in January 2018. The date is important. And we were at the Top Tier event And all of a sudden, and the cruise director says, "Oh my gosh, you guys, we have a really special surprise for you. The CEO of Royal Caribbean, Michael Bailey, is on board and he's going to come answer your questions." And he did. That guy answered questions, some of which are hilarious. We could do an entire video about them. But for a whole hour. And it turns out he was there because that was part of the planning process for the Icon class.
Oh, wow.
So the reason I say that and reference the date 2018 is because Icon launched in 2024.
Right.
So it's a 6-year process
Sure.
at the least to go from ideas to ship.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess I'm not saying that Discovery Class will never happen, but I will say Discovery Class won't happen as soon as anybody. I mean, at some point they were saying things like 2027, and that's not going to happen.
I think it's closer to 2030
I think
because
2030
you
is
look
probably a
at
little more
their
realistic.
their
Yeah.
release of ships right now, and
Yep.
how, and they don't really have anything
I mean,
2030 or
after Legend, there's 2 more Icon Class and 1 more Oasis Class coming
Right.
in the next few years.
Gosh, that is a lot of inventory.
It's a lot of
bro.
ship.
That's a. Ba-dum-boom, psh.
I'll be here all week.
Yeah, try the fish.
Yeah.
All right, so here is the feature for this video.
Dun-dun-dun.
Yeah. So, the relaunch or the launch of the brand new Club Royale offers webpage on the Royal Caribbean website. Now, I was really excited when I saw this happen because it was kind of unexpected. At least I didn't hear any rumors
Nobody
of it.
heard
All of a sudden it
anything
just
about it. Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
And I loved the way it looked. I loved the spinning reels as it's loading. And then I was shocked to find that, I had 12 offers on the old site and I had 1 offer on the new site. And, everybody was just up in arms and
been
panicking
kind of a
about
mess.
that, right?
Yeah.
Now, I will say for me, I think all my offers are back on there. I haven't gone in to see if all the sailings in those
Right.
offers are on
Right.
there. But why don't you go into a little bit more about what you've seen, what you've heard from your clients, and kind of some of the workarounds and stuff that you've had to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll start with, as it is often called, the compliment sandwich, which is to say, it does look a lot nicer. And very importantly, from a functional point of view, it is organized based on when your offers expire. So it's like in order now, as opposed to that last site where everything was just chaotically listed.
Yeah.
So those are good things. And to me, those bode well. It obviously doesn't give the information in the same way that the old site does. But again, we agreed the old site had a lot of problems too.
Yeah.
The biggest problem with it is it doesn't give very complete information. And I'll talk a little bit more about what I mean about that. But I think the thing to keep in mind is that it is a framework that has a lot of potential.
Right.
In a lot of ways, what looks like it's new is actually the same as it used to be. So for instance, you can redeem your offers on the website. Well, there was always a button that said redeem. You're basically doing the same thing that you were doing before, which is filling out a form that gets fulfilled by a rep, by a Club Royale rep. So in that way, it is not much different. Just looks a little prettier. They do have some options that they didn't have before to apply a next cruise booking, or I believe to also use like trade-in values and stuff like that. So I think it has promise, but there are a lot of problems with it, and navigating it these days has become a lot more complicated.
Okay.
Yeah. So the biggest challenge, obviously, is seeing the sailings that you have available for each offer. I will say, as a blanket statement, there are still people who can't see any offers. I have some clients who, when they look at an offer or they go to click on it, it says this offer is invalid. So clearly there's a lot of problems. And there's really been no guidance, right, on how we should address those problems. We also, as travel agents, were not notified. That's a big problem for us because our ability to book cruises for our clients depends on us knowing what their offer codes are, and B, what comps those offer codes entitle them to. One of the things that's important for us to know now is whether it is a comp fare for 1 or whether it is a comp fare for 2. You'll probably notice when you look at the site that it's not very clear in some cases. And obviously that doesn't apply to everybody. If you're getting mostly offers that end in 01 or 02 or even 03, you don't have any offers that are just for 1 and a discounted second guest. But a lot of people who get the offers 06, 07, 08 are going to get those offers. So there's had to be some workarounds. One thing I've noticed with the comp fares for 1 specifically is if you go to make a mock booking and you go through the process, it shows you in the box and with the information in it what your comp is and how much you would have remaining to pay. So that's one way that you can find out. Obviously, if you're using a travel agent, you can ask us. That's kind of what we're here for, is to help you guys figure this out. They used to have a site where we could look up the offer codes. It's gone now.
Oh, boy.
That's okay. I call those guys all the time. Hey.
Yeah, I think they'll probably see their increase in calls.
Oh, my God. Hopefully they'll develop a workaround. And maybe it's in the works. I don't think the ethos of the process is let's make this as easy as possible for everybody involved. Yeah. So there's a challenge. There's been some challenges, but I think there are also some workarounds for it.
Yeah. I'm very hopeful, especially considering that they have seemed to have already made some improvements.
Right.
That is going to be an ongoing process.
Yeah.
I would imagine oftentimes when a company develops a new piece of software or a new process, they put one audience member at the forefront, and that's what they develop it for.
Yeah.
So I think that they were looking for a really great aesthetic bang for your buck kind of thing that for the average cruiser might work fairly well, right? And I think they probably forgot that travel agents are using these systems and stuff like that. So it's like, oh wait, we also have to think about these people as well, right?
Yeah. And I will say that as of fairly recently, there is now, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, there is now an option to provide feedback.
Oh, good.
So there's like a thumbs up, thumbs down, and then there's a feedback box. So please provide feedback.
Feedback.
It's important for them to know what's going right. But even if it's just, I don't like this, they need to hear the volume of that, because that's what's going to get them, I think, to change it faster.
And I want to say this first before I say what I say next, but I love Royal Caribbean. Jessalyn loves Royal Caribbean. She's Pinnacle for a reason, not just for whatever. Like she paid for a lot of those cruises, so it's not like she was getting all comps. But they are very, very revenue focused, which a huge company like that with stakeholders, that's what they do. We all know that, right? And it comes through in certain ways, like the way they do sales, for instance. Well, they figured out if they shift their Black Friday sale and make it not as good, people expect Black Friday sales to be really good, so they'll probably shop on Black Friday.
If you're busy, you just go do that, and you dip in and dip out, and then you're done.
Instant certificates. When I get an instant certificate on a ship, it makes it look like I'm getting $300 off of a sailing. But if I actually go and I scan that instant certificate, I also have Cruise Fare for one Cruise Fare for one and also for two, right? But they bury them, right? Because I think what they're hoping that will happen is that people will take the options that make them more money, right?
Sure, why wouldn't they? Yeah.
We can debate whether that's a smart strategic, because we're not dumb, right? A lot of people are not dumb, and a lot of people might take a little bit of offense to that and maybe look for different options, or just circumvent their little their little games like we do. We figured it all out. That's why we have the channel. So I just think that hopefully I think they may have done that with this site as well by removing some options and stuff like that, trying to drive people into options that they want them to go into.
Yeah, no, I think I don't actually think I think it's more of a bug than a feature.
Okay.
But I do think that there is, maybe as part of it, it's like, oh, well, if they really want this sailing and they get there and they find out that instead of $250 for taxes and fees, it's actually, $650 because there's some cruise fare involved, then maybe they'll just be like, yeah, whatever, this is the one I want.
Yeah, for sure.
So a little bit of like impulse purchasing. Yeah. So, but I think that, one of the things that has really struck me about Royal Caribbean's program, especially as I work with a few other programs, is how Royal Caribbean's program is in some ways a lot more transparent than most in terms of telling you what specific sailings you can get as an offer, especially based on like your onboard play and things like that. I don't think the site really does a good job of showing you that. In fact, one of the things that's been hard is that with the new interface works fine. No, it doesn't work fine. It works fine minus for when you have a marketing offer that gives you, 20 different sailings. If you looked at those instant certificate lists, you have hundreds and hundreds of sailings on them. And so scrolling through in the new site is just a giant pain. So it's important to keep that address that the QR code on the host stand takes you to. I'm working on linking them to my webpage. I've generated some more sites that that are like a repository for those links for as long as they live online, because those PDF sites, right, with the chart are way at the table, are way easier to read for the instant certificate lists than the one that's within your logged in fancy schmancy looking news site.
And that's letsbookyourcruise.com. Right?
So letsbookyourcruise.com is my main website. I've been developing it. Actually, I've gotten a lot more visitors since I did the video back in the summer. Hey-o. But I've been developing some new resources for casino players that are going to be hooked up there, hopefully pretty soon, maybe this weekend.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining me again. I'm hoping that this can become a regular thing.
Yeah.
And to that vein, if you guys have any questions at all for me or Jesselyn, please throw them in the comments. And don't worry, you won't have to wait till the next video for us to answer them. We will answer them right in the comments there. But we'll also feature a few in the next video in our mailbag.
I want to ask you questions next time.
Oh, I don't think anybody wants that.
Oh, I think they all do.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. No promises. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Chris.
And thank you for watching.